and thank you for watching This Is Now. First at noon today, the Honolulu Police Department will be launching a new 911 feature next week. Officials say HPD operators receive up to 12,000 dropped calls or abandoned calls every month. Right now, operators are required to call all of those numbers back, but their new system will do that for them so they can focus on real emergencies.
Drop calls or abandoned calls are basically any time that the phone is disconnected before it can reach an operator, and our operators can give you whatever assistance you're calling for. So a lot of times this is missed dials, things like pocket dials, or if the phone is in a bag or purse and it accidentally dials. Another one is people who get frustrated or don't want to wait when they're trying to report a non-emergency crime and they're waiting. If they hang up, that's still considered an abandoned call. The system will call back, which frees up our operator to now handle regular calls, cut down on your wait queue if it's busy for like non-emergency calls. With any abandoned call, if we can't reach you and we can't confirm that you're okay, we'll end up sending an officer. So the system will call you back twice if you don't answer. At the third time, it'll be an operator calling you. If they can't reach you, then we send an officer to check on you. So this will also help free up our patrol officers.
HPD says it plans to launch the new feature on Thursday, September 5th. We'll have more details on our website and on later editions of HNN. To weather now, our team has issued a first alert weather day for Friday as they continue to track what's left of Gilma and Hector. Guy Hagi has your forecast.
How's it on this Thursday? Tropical storm Gilma still at the minimal tropical storm strength with 40-mile-an-hour winds. It's weakening as it approaches. We're not really concerned with the winds. That will not be an issue. It will, in fact, slow down the winds over the weekend, and it's going to bring in more rain for the east end of the state tonight, moving across the state tomorrow. So with the increasing rain, we have declared tomorrow a first alert weather day. Now, the chance for flooding is highest over on Hawaii Island because, of course, they're still saturated from the rain that Hone dropped about a week ago. So we've got these winds, right? They're going to be running, pretty steady today at 15 to 20. But as Gilma's remnants pass to the north of us, it's going to basically block the trade winds. So lighter winds due in tomorrow and on Saturday. Going to be a little bit more humid. You'll notice that. So enjoy today. It's going to be pretty nice. Granted, there are some showers out there for some windward areas, especially Maui County this morning. We're not expecting a whole lot of rain today with lots of leeward sunshine. So high temperatures running to about 89 degrees. And we've got a little bit of a boost in the country today. Not a whole lot happening. East shores are on the way down from Gilma's energy. South shores down to 1 to 3, and box jellyfish likely swimming around for at least another day. So today should be pretty mellow, right? In terms of rainfall, there will be a few scattered showers, yes, but we're expecting increasing showers tonight as well as tomorrow. So tomorrow's a first alert weather day. Make plans for rainfall. Could be heavy at times, especially for those windward areas of Maui and Hawaii Island. They are under the highest potential for flooding, but we're not expecting a whole lot of rain other than that. And then we'll still see some lingering showers on Saturday, although the rain will definitely be backing off. Much drier conditions take over by Sunday.
Thanks, Guy. And if you have any photos or videos you want to send us of the weather in your area, just scan the QR code on your screen. The fallout continues over former President Donald Trump's visit to Arlington National Cemetery. It involves a photo taken on the grounds and an altercation with his campaign staff. Now, this comes as Vice President Kamala Harris is preparing for a big moment with her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, in the battleground state of Georgia today. Nancy Cortez has more.
Southeastern Georgia is Republican territory, but Vice President Harris and her running mate Tim Walz are rolling through anyway. Polls show Harris has pulled even with former President Trump in this battleground state. And her campaign says 35,000 volunteers have signed up in Georgia since Harris became the nominee last month. Hi. So far, she has stayed mum on the controversy over her opponent's visit to Arlington National Cemetery on Monday. Defense officials tell CBS News that some Trump staffers got, quote, aggressive, both verbally and physically, when a cemetery official tried to prevent them from bringing a campaign photographer onto the grounds. Federal law prohibits election-related activity in the cemetery. The Trump team insists their cameraman was invited by the family members of Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover, and Hoover's family agrees. They all posed with Trump at Hoover's gravesite Monday. But there was another headstone in the picture belonging to Master Sergeant Andrew Marchesano, who died in 2020. In a statement to CBS News, Marchesano's sister said her understanding was that the Trump campaign staffer did not adhere to the rules. We hope that those visiting this sacred site, she said, understand that these were real people who sacrificed for our freedom.
The altercation at Arlington Cemetery is the media creating a story where I really don't think that there is one.
In Erie, Pennsylvania, Trump's VP nominee, J.D. Vance, sought to shift the focus to Harris.
And she wants to yell at Donald Trump because he showed up. She can go to hell.
That's pretty unusual language for the campaign trail. And the fact is that Harris hasn't yelled at Trump for going to Arlington. She hasn't said anything at all, though a Harris campaign spokesperson did say yesterday that the situation is pretty sad, and he added that it is not a surprise for the Trump campaign. Nancy Cordes, CBS News, Savannah.
The defense attorney for the man accused of killing a Hawaii woman in Seattle believes his client is not fit to stand trial.
I do not believe he is capable of understanding the charges today as well as the criminal proceedings that he is going through right now. I was not able to have a coherent conversation with him where he could assist me with this defense.
A judge ordered Andy Chu to undergo a mental evaluation. He's accused of killing his girlfriend, Zoe Hay, a McKinley High School graduate. Chu told police he choked and drowned Hay in a bathtub at his apartment earlier this month. She also had a large ball lodged in her throat. Chu is being held on $5 million bail. Results from his evaluation will be released at his next court date on September 17th. The family of a missing pregnant woman from Eva Beach is asking the community for help with the case after her husband was charged. 19-year-old Misha Johnson was reported missing on July 31st and is feared to be dead. Her husband, Private First Class Dwayne Arthur Johnson II, was charged this week with providing false official statements, obstruction of justice, and the production and distribution of child pornography.
I've cried all I could, and I'm just really upset at him. Any and all information is important. Again, if you saw his red Mustang, if you were with him, if you saw him in a store, just anything of that sort, that's important.
Johnson remains in pre-trial confinement pending a preliminary hearing. Call the Army's CID division with any tips. That number is up on your screen. A former Maui lawmaker says she's getting demand letters to pay maintenance fees for her condo that was destroyed in the Lahaina disaster. She's refusing to pay, saying there's nothing to maintain. Chelsea Davis has her story.
I never expected that something that was not caused by any of the owners would be used to really kind of entrap owners.
Retired State Senator Ros Baker owned a cozy unit on the first floor at Ainanalu off Waine'e Street in Lahaina. Last August's inferno turned it to ash. But Baker says she is still getting letters from her condo association demanding she continue to pay maintenance fees.
I'm pushing back because looking at the property, there's no maintenance to be maintained. It all burned to the ground.
Because of pending litigation, the Association of Apartment Owners president told me he can't comment on the situation. But a letter sent to Baker states the association has retained a lawyer, and they're charging her for that too. They're demanding she pay nearly $1,000. She's baffled by the entire thing.
It would be one thing if I lived in that property and was trying to get my fees reduced. But I can't live in that property because it burned to the ground, and I'm having to find someplace else where I'm having to pay rent.
Baker is now renting a studio in Kahana. She's grateful to have a roof over her head, but feels she's being taken advantage of and wants to spread awareness to see if others are in the same situation.
I feel confident that we could work something out if people really wanted to do that. But if they want to be stuck to their positions and say, you owe no matter what, then I guess we're into more litigation than I would hope.
Messages left for Ainanalu's attorney went unanswered. Reporting from Lahaina, Chelsea Davis, Hawaii News Now.
After years of complaints about shocking rents, some residents in Ewa Beach are urging Hawaii's Attorney General to join a federal antitrust lawsuit. The lawsuit currently includes 8 states. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland accuses real estate software company RealPage of price fixing and driving up rental prices. Some residents at Kapilina Beach Homes, a former military housing complex at Iroquois Point, have filed a petition and are asking Hawaii's Attorney General to join the lawsuit. This is because landlord's website, Gray Star Community, says it's using RealPage software.
I would like the state of Hawaii to investigate the software corporation and any rental agencies that use this software.
Michelle Poplar pays more than $2,900 per month, a more than 14% increase since the year 2022. RealPage says, quote, "We believe strongly in the legality of our product and that the software is not driving higher rates than what would happen in a competitive market." A developer has been picked to build affordable housing on the campus of Mililani High School for teachers and school staff. It's the first school housing project of its type in Hawaii in decades and could be just the beginning. Pacific Housing Assistance Corporation says it will relocate the school's agriculture program to build 109 affordable rental units on a corner of the campus near Mililani Town Center. The state will pay only $5 million for the project. Officials say it's a pattern that can be repeated at other schools and state properties.
And this will be the first of many, hopefully, to come. And this will set the stage of how we can best maximize a limited amount of funds and maximize the flexibility on using state land.
But I'm excited to see this happen, and I just hope that red tape doesn't cause more and more delays.
The new Schools Facility Authority is managing the project. An advisory committee is designed to ensure the DOE and school community have input in construction and management. And the developer says it hopes to have educators move in by December of 2028. The Hawaii Supreme Court has made a ruling that reopens the door to commercial aquarium fish collection along West Hawaii shoreline. Both sides are not seeing it as a complete victory. Ben Gutierrez explains why.
In a 4-1 decision, the state's highest court ruled the aquarium fishers' environmental impact statement was adequate to allow the practice to resume off West Hawaii. Opponents in support of the ban say they're not giving up the fight. Groups represented by Earth Justice filed suit to block the environmental impact statement, which allows aquarium fishing off West Hawaii, after it was automatically accepted by a tie vote from the BLNR in 2021.
We and our clients felt very strongly that the way that EIS was put together failed to adduce the necessary information. The Supreme Court disagrees. Either way, it's a document that the BLNR will use to decide whether or not to issue permits.
The issue has been controversial for more than a decade. A circuit court order back in 2017 put the industry on hold, pending a review of the Hawaii Environmental Policy Act and mandating an analysis of the aquarium pet trade's environmental effects. Opponents challenged the state's permit system, saying the impact to Hawaii's reefs was never properly studied.
Our very critically important reef animals are taken en masse to satisfy hobbyists and the trade from the mainland and across the world, not kept here in Hawaii to benefit Hawaii's people.
The Supreme Court ruling says the environmental review is valid and the DLNR can start issuing permits for aquarium fish harvesting in West Hawaii waters. But aquarium fishers were still expressing frustration in last Friday's meeting of the board, which was considering 7 new permits.
All we have ever done is said, how do we comply? We've done nothing but work in good faith, and we've been constantly told if we complete this process, we could get our jobs back and get our livelihood back. It's been 7 years now.
Other fishers who didn't want to go on camera say even though the EIS is now confirmed, they still can't resume fishing because groups like Earth Justice are delaying the DLNR from issuing the permits. That's something Earth Justice says it will continue to do.
EIS or no, Supreme Court ruling or no, we've got a lot of advocacy ahead of us. And all of it is still 100% valid. The Supreme Court ruling doesn't really change much in terms of that.
Commercial aquarium fishing is still illegal in other Hawaiian coastal waters. As for the new permit requests, the board didn't make a decision because a contested case hearing has been requested. Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
The Yiki Shell will be closed from October through March of next year as it undergoes major renovations. The city says they include electrical upgrades estimated to cost about $500,000 and improvements to the lighting system and orchestra pit seating area. Hawaiian Electric will also upgrade a transformer that provides power to the shell. With the shell's temporary closure, the Kilohana Hula Show will relocate to the Kuhio Beach Hula Mound on September 2nd. Temperature is 82 degrees. Lots of sunshine over there, but we are tracking the remnants of Gilma. We're going to have more news after this quick break. A parent's worst nightmare has now become a legal case that could change the face of social media. A 10-year-old girl died after taking part in the so-called blackout challenge on TikTok. A U.S. appeals court is now allowing her mother's lawsuit against the company to move forward. Jolene Kent has more.
She was my butterfly. She was everything any mother can ask for.
Tawana Anderson has been fighting for years to get justice for her daughter, 10-year-old Nyla.
That's her twin brother.
She died in 2021 from attempting the blackout challenge that dared people on TikTok to choke themselves until they lost consciousness. Social media companies are typically shielded from liability for the third-party content that appears on your feed under a federal law from 1996 called Section 230. Yet last month, a Supreme Court ruling changed that.
The Supreme Court ruled the algorithms on these platforms are protected speech of the platforms. That looked like a victory for the tech companies, except if the algorithms are protected speech of the tech companies, then they're also liable for the outcomes of those algorithms.
Anderson's lawsuit claims TikTok targeted Nyla by recommending blackout challenge content to her.
The For You page isn't just videos posted by others. It's its own expressive product when TikTok compiles it in a certain fashion, and they do it to keep the user engaged.
On Tuesday, an appeals court judge in Philadelphia revived the lawsuit, ruling that TikTok makes choices about the content recommended and promoted to specific users, and by doing so is engaged in its own first-party speech.
Big tech just lost their get out of jail free card.
What is the family hoping to get out of this case now that it will go to trial?
So the family's hoping to make sure that companies like TikTok use their vast technology to make sure children are kept safe online.
According to Business Week, Nyla was one of at least 15 children under age 12 who died as a result of the challenge since 2021. The family declined an interview today, but Nyla's mother talked with CBS News last year.
That's my question to them. How many more children until this stops?
TikTok did not respond to our multiple requests for comment, and now this lawsuit has been kicked back down to a lower court to begin that long process towards a trial. Jolene Kent, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Start. 2, 1.
Blue Origin returned to space this morning with 6 people on board for the ride. They lifted off from Blue Origin's remote launch pad in Van Horn, Texas at 9:08 a.m. Eastern Time. This mission is Blue Origin's second crewed space flight since a mid-flight failure of an uncrewed launch back in September 2022. Today's journey ended with a successful parachute-aided touchdown just over 10 minutes after liftoff. Greenpeace is in the middle of its One Ocean, One Earth tour, and its flagship vessel is moored here in town and offering public tours. Casey Lund takes us to Honolulu Harbor.
Aloha from the bridge aboard the Rainbow Warrior, Greenpeace's flagship here at Honolulu Harbor. I'm dressed down a little bit because we're aboard a boat. And this is, by the way, going to set sail just a little bit to Lahaina and then a week out at sea before it returns here. And that's when your opportunity to check out the ship, come aboard, meet some of the folks that do this important work with Greenpeace. That's September 7th, September 8th. The details will be on your screen here. And you do need to RSVP, or it's advised that you should, so you can go online at hawaiinewsnow.com. We have a link to do that. But I'm here with Charlie Fritzer. She's with us from Greenpeace. Thank you so much for being here today. This is such a unique opportunity for folks, but I also want to get a little bit deeper into some of the work that you people are doing. One Ocean, One Earth tour, and I know that you just had a 5-week sort of deployment out at sea, doing some research, some investigation, longline fishing. Can you tell us some of the things that you saw and some of the work that you've been doing?
Thank you. So we've just arrived in Hawaii a few days ago from Taiwan. And in the last 5 weeks, what we've been doing is a high seas fisheries investigation. What this means is 2 things. One, looking at the impact of destructive fishing practices like longlining on our oceans in terms of overfishing, in terms of ghost nets, which are nets that are left and become trash and trap different animal and marine life, as well as the labor conditions on board some of these vessels.
And that's a big thing that the folks here are pretty well aware of. One other thing, these folks that are, I know Greenpeace has kind of compared it to modern slavery, right?
That's right. And one of the campaigns we have as well here in the U.S. is to push the U.S. government as well as retailers to take responsibility and accountability and to ensure that U.S. consumers are not buying and then feeding their families seafood that's tainted with modern slavery and environmental destruction.
And I think that you folks are doing this work out at sea, being really involved, but we can all do our part. I think that begins with educating ourselves, right? And that's what opportunities like being able to come on board and connect with Greenpeace is really all about. So tell me about what's happening, not this weekend, but next, the 7th and the 8th.
Yes, if you have an opportunity to come on board, this ship is incredible.
It's very cool.
And the people who work here have a million stories and are so inspirational. So on the 7th and the 8th of September, from 10 to 5, we have open boats. You have to RSVP because there's a lot of demand, but really worth taking the trip down and getting to speak to people who are working and living aboard the Rainbow Warrior.
People like Charlie, I'm sure you have a million stories to tell. Thank you for sharing just a little bit of it with us. Of course, a reminder, if you want to check out that experience, we have all the details to RSVP online at hawaiinewsnow.com. We'll send things back into the studio from aboard the Rainbow Warrior.
The Paralympic Games are officially underway in Paris, with the city beginning the final chapter of its summer of sports. 5 French athletes lit the flying cauldron at the opening ceremony last night. Thousands of others paraded through the heart of the city in a 4-hour celebration. Team USA has 225 athletes competing in the games. They're among the more than 4,000 athletes from 184 nations taking part in 11 days of events, ranging from para swimming to wheelchair racing. And check out the lines at Dodgers Stadium in Los Angeles. Fans lined up early to try to get a bobblehead of baseball superstar Shohei Ohtani and his beloved dog Decoy at Wednesday's game. Some fans arrived as early as 8 a.m., which is nearly 12 hours before first pitch, to try to get one of 40,000 bobbleheads. Decoy even threw the first pitch to Ohtani, and the adorable spectacle received a roaring applause. To top it off, Ohtani hit his 42nd home run of the season in the bottom of the first inning. How adorable was that first pitch? Thanks for watching, everyone. More news on Hawaii News Now, first at 4, coming up on KHNL.